I remember when I had to go to college, I was so excited yet so scared at the same time. And I'm pretty sure all of you out there must be the same. Having spent 2 years in my college living in hostel away from home in another state altogether, I have put together this list of big sisterly advice I've got for you. These are not just products, these are actual experiences and feelings that I would convey to you as your older sister in college. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Anurita Gupta, also known as Ideas by Anu. I'm a BSc Honors Biotechnology research student in India, and having completed 2 years of my college life, I have put together a list of big sisterly advice that I would give to anyone stepping into college this year. So, without any further ado, let's get into the video. So, first up is Academics 101. Without a doubt, my first thing in this is do not let your grades fall. A lot of people go into college with this misconception that grades don't really matter anymore. But that is not the case. Specifically, if you're doing a degree which is technical, maybe CSC or engineering, electrical engineering, or biotechnology, these technical degrees are giving you technical skills, and the only way to actually know your technical skills is to test you on them. Grades really, really matter going forward, especially in the beginning when you do not have any experience. Your experience is equals to your grade, so please do not let your grades fall just for the sake of it. I have made this mistake and I really regret it. So do not make this mistake. I'm not saying you have to, if you are someone who can score 8.8, 8.7 easily, keep yourself at that. Do not let yourself go below what your potential is, because that is going to really hurt you in the long term. Second, under academics would be listening in class. So, going forward, maybe the first year feels like a breeze, but at one point in your degree, it's gonna hit you that it's really hard to do this degree, or it's really hard to really understand what's going on. So, make sure that you are listening and paying attention in classes. Why? See, usually when you're stepping into college, you are more about concepts than rote learning. Everything that is being taught to you is conceptual because you need to apply it in future. So you need to understand it before you actually mug it up or learn it, and that understanding will be best in a classroom itself from a professor who actually knows this, who actually studied this. So please listen in class, because that will really make your work in half. You will be done actually understanding the concept. All that will be left will be learning it, and it will save you a lot of time going in future and for a lot of more things. Third advice for this will be make a study system. Yes, I am not saying a schedule, I am not saying when and how you want to learn. Make a study system. Again, like I said, there will be a time where it will hit you that this is a hard degree. Any degree is going to be hard because you're going to go into the small, deep nuances of what is out there in the world, in this sector, or in this area of working. So please, once you do that, you need to figure out a system for yourself and not just learning as and when you go. By a system, I mean a schedule or a system wherein you are giving enough time to everything, prioritizing your study, your grades, and also at the same time making sure it's sustainable for you to do it. Like, you can't study 5 hours a day every day, but you can study 3 hours today and 4 hours tomorrow and maybe 5 hours the next day. So that sustainability, you know it best, you know your capacity best, your mental, your physical, anyway your capacity is what you know, nobody else in the future, like in the future, in the world, right? So you need to find out a way to make a system that works for you. Personally, I have not made systems and I have suffered. Now my system is every weekend I give at least 4 to 6 hours of studying, and that is how I have made my GPA go from 8.3 to 9.4 in one semester. So make systems. They don't seem like much, and they will not give you like an exponential amount of growth at once, but they'll take you slowly and steadily to every level, and that is what's going to change your game in grades and academics. My fourth thing would be applicative learning always. Guys, in future na, anything that we are learning in our degree, we will have to apply. We should know Even if we can't explain or give the bookish tutorial or the bookish definition of something, we should be able to tell, or we should be able to apply that technique in any way and every way possible. So that is what comes first. What I have started doing is, anything that I learn, any technique that I learn, I go and Google, I go and search how is it applicative in the industry that it is used. For example, I learned protein purification. So protein purification, where will it actually come in handy? Where will it actually be used? What exact sector will it be used in? Because given the fact biotechnology is huge and wide, I need to know exactly where it can be used. So that is very important in a degree or learning in college, because in the future you will have to apply all these things, not just learn and keep them in your head. Hence, application should always be learned. And when you know the application, now you really know the technique or the concept very clearly, because you relate it to all those applicative stuff. You relate it to where it is in the actual world. And that helps you a lot more than just rote learning it. My last advice in the sector of academics would be, no one will take your grades seriously. What it means is, specifically coming from a research background, nobody is gonna come and say, आओ बेटा लैब में काम करो, या आओ बेटा ये एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ो, या आओ बेटा तुमको कुछ सिखाते हैं. They will stick to the syllabus. And if, like, some teachers, they have this thing, okay, we will make a paper easier and we'll pass you, they will even do that. It's on your head that you get something out of your degree, nobody else's. Why? See, what happens is, once you go in the college now, your parents are not there to overlook you. Your teachers really don't care how much you do, because in colleges there's so many people in one class. Like, there's 100 plus people in one class. So how can the teacher actually see every single person? They can't, right? So the teacher won't care as much, right? They will say, okay, pass ho jaya, good to go. Okay, your friends may be good people, and they may be people who want to enjoy their college life. So please know that your grades matter to you, matter for your future, and only you will actually stress or can stress about it. So make friendships, make connections, make time for yourself and your studies. Nobody else is gonna give you that space. You will have to put the boundaries, you will have to discipline yourself. The major learning in college is learning to self discipline, because in college nobody is gonna care, right? In school you get absent people, like teachers tell you, parents tell you, parents wake you up, all these things happen, right? College, the biggest learning is self discipline. So you need to discipline yourself to be able to make time for your goals, your studies, and your future. The second sector is extracurriculars 101. Now you must be thinking, what in extracurriculars, right? So my first advice would be picky. You know, once you go into college, there's so many kinds of people, there are so many societies, so many clubs, so many crews that you want to join. But please be picky as to what really aligns with what you want. Now there are two approaches that people take. One, they do things that will actually that is actually aligned with their professional work, and the second is they do it for fun. I say, do it for fun, do it for professionally like aligned stuff, but be picky. Do not go about joining 10 clubs and then not being able to actually show up for any of them, because if there are 10 invites at the same time, you won't really be able to go anywhere, right? You can't really show up in one place and not in the nine other. So be picky, be choosy, choose stuff that you actually want to spend time doing at the end of the day, be it professional or be it just for fun. Remember that going forward, because there are so many distractions, so many bling, so much bling all around, that you will not actually realize how much you've gotten yourself into once you do. My second advice would be, try to work with different people, crews, and teams. Now, this happened with me. What happened was, I was doing a lot of core teamwork, but at the end of the day, it was the same 10 people that had done the same, like the 10 events. I participated in 5, 6, 7, 10 events as a core member, and I worked with the same 10 people. So I don't really think that after the second or the maybe maximum the third time I got anything out of that experience. And hence I feel like half of my experience were wasted because we had set roles. Everybody was saying मैं social media करूंगी, the logistics person was said, the event management was said, there was maybe a swap of 2 to 3 people, even not even 3 to 4. So work with different people, because that is how you'll actually learn team building, team management, leadership. Only when you learn and when you work with all different kinds of people do you realize and build your skills to a level which is adaptable in any situation. So if you want to like go all out, remember to work with different kind of people, different crews, different teams, and in different roles. Do not set yourself or stereotype yourself to one role, which I did unfortunately. But do not do that. Your all round development can only happen when you do make it deliberate and all round development. Third would be balance core and volunteer work. Now, what does this mean? So, in an event, there are two teams, one is behind the scenes and one is the audience. Remember that you also get a chance to attend things or attend events as an audience and not just as someone walking behind the stage. Why do I say this? What happened was, once in 1 month there were 3 or 4 events in the month of October, and छुट्टियां भी थी, सब था, paper भी थे, everything. I was a core member in all 5, so I was not able to enjoy any of them. See, being a core member or being a central, or rather being a BTS person, brings a lot of opportunities and a lot of space for arguments, bad blood, a lot of things, right? So know when to be a core person and when to be an audience, because enjoying as an audience also is a lot like an experience that you should have. Like going forward, I have really decided to not be a part of core code stuff a lot, but rather be the audience and be and see the execution and see the production rather than do it myself. Because being a core, it takes a lot out of you, and sometimes specifically after a while you stop seeing the joy in it. So you need to balance that once you're behind the stage, once you're an audience, so that you can see both ends of it and actually enjoy both ends of it for a long run. My last advice for extracurriculars would be document for your CV or resume. Take pictures, take videos, document on a daily basis what you have done, because you can also translate those skills into resume CV skills, and that can really help build your brand, build your repo, build a lot of things that you may not realize. The way things work in the world is, you work in school like you are a good person, you are a event planner in school, then you come to college, you say yes, I have done this, you have the confidence from that level, so you apply it at college level. At college level you say yes, I know how to do this, and then you apply it to real world professional level. So document everything so that in the future you this can also count as an experience and not just a volunteer activity. Documenting is what differentiates you from just someone who was executing, and rather than someone from strategizing who was strategizing. So remember that, and you can really translate those skills into CVs and resumes, which can actually leave a great impact. The next section is relationships 101, and these are not just romantic ones, these are friendships, people acknowledge, and acquaintances, all kinds of relationships. So the first one in this, make relationships that make you grow. What does that mean? So you'll find friends sooner or later, you'll find a romantic partner sooner or later, you will find people who are yours sooner or later. But that doesn't mean that you need to stick with the first person you find till you find your right person, and even if it doesn't help you grow. See, everything in this world should nourish you. Okay, your friendships, the people around you, your family, your teachers, your colleagues, your acquaintances, all these people should nourish you going forward. Now, I believe largely in compatibility and even in friendships. Some friendships will not align with you on a lot of levels, but they will help you grow. And then there are some friendships that align with you on all levels, but they won't help you grow. So choose the ones that help you grow and not the ones that pull you down. Okay, any kind of relationship, be it a romantic one, be it friendship, be it professional colleagues, if you are not okay in a team working with any people, either voice your opinion and change or leave. Okay, do not let anything stop or hamper your growth, because at the end of the day, the most important thing in the world is your growth and your nourishment, and only you will care about it, nobody else will. Second is learn to say no. So this happens to me a lot. I am a recovering people pleaser. I end up not saying no to a lot of things. And that does get me pulled into plans I don't want, or rather situations that I don't want, in all and every way. So learn to say no to plans. Learn to say no to things that may not be feasible for you at that point. I'm not saying say no to anything and everything, but if your friends, your entire friend group of 10 people is ready to go for a trip and you want to rejuvenate at your room, do not think twice before saying no. Say, no, guys, I would like to stay in my room and rejuvenate. I have had a bad week, I have had a bad day, whatever. Because at the end of the day, like I said, only you will care about your rejuvenation, only you will care about your growth, or only you will care about your work. So put that boundary, put it politely, not rudely, very important, be polite, but do put it out there in the world that okay, you need time, you need space, and you will take that space from people. Even if, like, what happens I've seen is, if, like, for example, 10 people are going and one person has said no, so they will try and convince कि सब जा रहे हैं तू भी चल. It's okay. It's also, they're also trying to be friends to you only. They don't want to leave you behind. But you can, if you really, really need to stay at home or stay at your rooms or stay at your place, just for your sake of mental health or your sake of health, do not be afraid to do it. Very politely voice it and stay at your room. It's not at all an issue. It should not be an issue in real friendships, at least. Third one would be learn to differentiate between people. What it means is, some people are colleagues, some are friends, some are close friends, and some are roommates, some are your workmates. So you should know the difference between these five relationships. A friend deserves a certain amount of effort, a friendship deserves that. The same amount of effort may not go into hanging out with your workmates, and others should not go into unless they're also your close friends. So learn to differentiate between all these kind of people, who are your acquaintances, who are your colleagues, who are your friends, who are your close friends, and give time and energy and space according to all these things. Now, this is not something that you need to think about and sit and think, oh my god, मैं क्या हूँ, मैं वो कौन है मेरे लिए, and all those things. This comes naturally. Just listen to your gut and heart and follow through, because if you give nurture or nourishment to a friendship or an acquaintance and not give the same to a friendship, that friendship will wither, and there is no surety that the acquaintance will actually turn into a friendship, right? So remember to differentiate and remember to allot that kind of effort or energy to each and every different relationship in your life. Fourth is equations will change. All those reels that say कि first year में ऐसे होते हैं, second year में बदलता है, सांप है. I will not say सांप है, but yes, equations change. You find out your people sooner or later. Your friends will find out their people sooner or later, and it's completely fine. Okay, it's completely fine for them to find new friends and want to stick with them. It's completely fine for you to find new friends and stick with them. It's all about whom you align with, your vibe matches with, and change is part of life. So it should not be feared, or it should not be something that you should be like, oh my god, मैं ये नहीं कर सकती, या this is wrong, or in any way. So feel free to do that. Always be open to change. I know it hurts sometimes. Sometimes you think, okay, this friend is it for me, but then they go and find new friends. So it hurts, but at the end of the day, change takes time, and change is supposed to be there, right? So try to learn, try to adapt, and take time off if you need. Take solo trips, solo cafe outings if you need. Spend time solo, but learn to adapt, because equations will inevitably change in life. We are just stepping into adulthood. So it's gonna take time to settle down, it's gonna take time to figure out everything, and that's totally fine. My last and most important part of this relationships 101 is your most important relationship is with yourself. Nurture it, give time to it, grow it as much as possible. You should know how to spend time alone. You should know how to spend time with yourself without going into a rabbit hole of overthinking or anything such. You should know how to be your own self with yourself. You should not need anyone to do something that you really want, right? So, this is really important. That relationship is the most important in your life, and that is the only relationship that's going to last for sure till your last breath. Okay, so remember that very, very earnestly, that your most important relationship is with yourself. You need to nurture it, you need to grow it the same way you have to for other relationships in your life. Do not let it take a backseat in any way. Take it along with you, make adjustments. There will be times where you will have to maybe put yourself on a backseat for maybe other people or maybe circumstances of life. But remember, it does need time. Your relationship with yourself, nourishment, growth, all of these things are required by the relationship that you have yourself. So always, always remember that is the most important and needs to be nourished the most. Now, this section is all those who are living away from home in a hostel, Hostel 101. So, my first thing would be getting along is a choice to an extent. See, especially if you're living in a hostel, you will have to get along with your roommates, with people on your floor, with people all around, right? And there is no choice that you will have who is living, mostly you will not have a choice with who is living next to you or on the floor or right in front of you. Okay, the most choice you can have is who is your roommate. So getting along is something that you can actually do, but only to an extent. You can't get along with someone like absolutely in every way possible. Okay, if there is someone who is not okay with you or whom you are not okay with, it's okay to not get along with people, right? Know that you can make it work to an extent, and beyond that extent there needs to be separation, or there needs to be some uh, barrier, or there needs to be some boundaries between the two of you, and that is fine. Try to make it work till it is working for you and till it is fine to make it work for you. Do not try to make it work beyond a level wherein it's causing you harm or you anyway that is not right. Okay, so remember that getting along is a choice but only to an extent. Second is less is more. Guys, you have no idea how much I thought I'll buy those organization things for my hostel. I'll buy those crates and those hooks and those whatnot for my hostel room, right? I already watch a lot of the such content, so I was very excited. But at the end of the day, these things also take up space, and you need to find functional ways to organize and to keep yourself in a check rather than just fancy ways to do it. Okay, and moreover you will have limited space, so everything and anything that you have in your wardrobe, in your bed, in your closet, anything and everything should be functional to the T. Like, I can't have one top and one jeans that only works with one thing, right? That one jeans should work with five tops, and those five tops should work with five jeans each. Okay, and this is just an example that I'm giving you in terms of clothing. If I have, for example, I have a kettle, right? That kettle should be able to boil water, boil eggs, boil like make Maggie. I can't have a egg boiler separately. I can't have a Maggie maker separately. These things don't work, right? So less is more. Multifunctional stuff is way, way more, and you should like invest in things that are good quality and multifunctional, so that you firstly save on money and on space going forward in life. Speaking of money, learn to manage your finances. Guys, finances are something that we need to know how to manage. Like, in a blink of an eye, we'll be 20, 25-year olds, and we will have to manage our own salaries and our own everything, right? So learn to manage that. The best way to do, I think, for that is have a set budget every month, have a set pocket money every month. I have a set pocket money. Every month I get that amount of pocket money, and I put that amount of pocket money into two sectors. Two-third of it goes into spending, and one-third of it goes into savings. I have an SIP running. I put my money into that SIP. Every month there's an automated cut. So you need to know how to actually utilize the money that is being given to you. A lot of people I see, they take money as and when needed, which I don't think instills the kind of discipline that is needed in life with money. And money handling, especially for middle class people, is very, very, very important. Okay, even for rich class, but for middle class, it's a dire need. You should know how to make your money work for you. You should know how to make your money secure, how to make your money safe for yourself for future. So money management is really important. For me, most of my knowledge comes from my dad. My dad knows a lot, and I ask him. So sit down with your dad, sit down with your moms if they know about money, about finances, talk to them what they are already doing. Then I watch a lot of YouTube about money and how to handle your money, how to actually do it. I'll be very honest, I don't find a lot of videos about Indian money management as a student. I find a lot which is um, more aligned to international standards and international policies, not Indian. So let me know if you'd want me to make videos about it, because I am trying to funnel my money in the best way possible going forward. And hence, I would like to share that with you all also. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to make that video for you all. My fourth one is spend on good food, not tasty food. We all know hostel का खाना कितना बदनाम है, especially in India. I am not a very picky eater, but there are some days where I cannot eat what has been made in the hostel. And I resort to mostly Maggies or momos or chow mein and stuff like that, right? But I do feel like it takes a toll on your body in the long run, because sometimes you want to have it just for the sake of having it, and sometimes you're having this junk because you cannot have the food that is prepared in the mess, right? So we need to cut one of the other ways. Either satisfy your cravings or satisfy your hunger. One of these has to be healthy, right? So I have started like eating for my cravings junk food, and when there is not something जो अच्छा बना हुआ है like in the hostel and everything, I go for stuff like those ready-made upmas and those ready-made poha, you know, those MTR packets kind of. I have started going for those. It is a good alternative. It is not as tasty, of course, but the point is, I don't want to cheap out on the nutrition or on the goodness of whole food just because I do not like what is being made, right? So I need to really think that way, and that is what I have been trying to make a change of. I have made this mistake of eating junk food when I wanted to eat it and when I could not eat the hostel food. But I am trying to change it very consciously. And yeah, there are certain alternatives that you can go for. One is, of course, chocos, like chocos, or I would say cornflakes. You can have cornflakes at night. Muesli is really filling. I really find it very filling, muesli, right? And if you don't find it very filling, you can like buy the cornflakes separately, buy pumpkin seeds and melon seeds, musk melon seeds, separately, mix it together, and you can add dried cranberries or bananas or whatever you want to add on top with a little bit of honey, and you can make it your own also if you don't find muesli very good, because muesli has a lot more than just cornflakes and fruits and all those things. So you can mix and match, and it will also like the supplies will last you a longer time. So you can do that. If you're a non-vegetarian, you can have eggs with bread, simple, right? So there are alternatives which take a little more extra effort, but they're a lot more nutritious, and that is what I am trying to sway myself towards when such situations of inedible food in hostel arrives. But now I try to eat in the hostel, and I only want to spend money on tasty food when I am craving it and not because I need to eat something. Last but not the least, and it is not just limited to hostels, it is limited to your college life. Systems are a need. You need systems in studying, you need systems in doing your chores, you need systems in figuring out your extracurriculars, you need systems in completing your assignments. Systems are a need, and only you can set a system that works for you, is sustainable for you, and will not tire you out at the end of the day. So remember that college teaches you discipline, self discipline, and systems are a foundation of self discipline. So don't forget to build systems for yourself, change them as you grow, as you change yourself as a person, and just find ways to make your life sustainable and full of growth and nourishment. And with this, we come to the end of today's video. I hope you liked all this advice that I have given you. This is just these are just lessons that I have learned along the way, and maybe these help you and give you a head start on college life. Any more questions, feel free to put them down in the comment section below. I will be happy to make videos about more things going forward in life. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Comment below what you like the most about this video. Follow me on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn if you want. I'll drop all the links down below in the description box, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Take care.